Hi and welcome to Vlogmas day 7, and today it's my birthday. So today I am 43 and let's open my advent calendar. That took a while to find, but it's here. And I think this is needles. It's an assortment of machine needles, universal, and we've got 70, 80 and 90s in there. So that's today's advent calendar. So today we've got a lot planned. We're going to Craster for a walk. So I'm wrapped up nice and warm, and I will share what I'm wearing later because it's a new make I've not shared with you yet. So we're back from our walk and we had a lovely time in Craster. So we first arrived and we entered the car park, and there's a little bit of parking at the start, but then you can go to the car park behind and see the disused quarry. Now we watched a programme on BBC, so for people in the UK you might have caught it, and it's about coastal villages in the UK, and we watched one because we knew we were planning to come to Northumberland, and we watched one on Craster and talked about the significance of the quarry in the history of Craster, and that's where they used to quarry for whinstone, which is a very hard stone, and they used it for building. Apparently it went all the way to London, but it stopped becoming economically viable in the 1930s apparently. Then we walk into Craster village and there's a little harbour there. Here's a little harbour. Just walked down from the harbour, which is just over there, and the sea is looking very choppy today, and up here just in the distance is Dunstable Castle, which we think is actually open today, so we're going to go and have a walk and see whether we can have a look round. So here is a better view of the castle as we're approaching it, and you can hear the waves of the sea to our right here. Just turned around and had a look at Craster, and isn't it beautiful in the sunlight? It's so pretty. Then we walked along the coast up to Dunstable Castle and saw the ruins there. Now I was hoping that it would be open and we could have a look around, but it's only open between October and December on a Saturday or a Sunday, and today is Wednesday, so it was closed. Instead we just carried on walking. We were following this book that we found in the cottage. Now we had looked online at different walks that you could do, and one of them in here was very similar to the one we'd picked online, and we took this book with us actually because it's hard to get phone signal. Actually we couldn't get any in Craster, so we did. This book is from the 1980s, so we weren't sure about how much like the roads and things had changed since then. We did this walk, and you can see it on the map here in the blue. So part of it is along the coastline and part of it is like the through farmland, arable farmland. And this says it takes about, it's 4.5 miles and it takes 3.5 hours. Now it took us, we did it in 1 hour and 52. Oh, so here this little part of the bay is called Nova Scotia, which is interesting. Even though this goes like the other way round and you start at a different place, we were able to follow it and we had no problems finding our way around. We walked past the castle and you could see the bay. It was absolutely beautiful. There was rocks, but then there was such lovely coloured sand. So here's the other side of the castle. And it's right next to the sea. And I don't really feel like the camera is doing the sea justice because it just looks absolutely formidable. And Ben just looked at the temperature because it feels very cold and it feels like -2 at the moment here. And we walked down onto the beach and then we took a left and went up through the farmland. And while we were walking through the farmland, there was a huge flock of geese over our heads. And yeah, I got some footage of that too. So we're on our way to Dunstan Square. There's the castle. And we've just been past Dunstan Stead Farm and we're walking down this pathway to Dunstan Square and that's back towards Craster. And we just really enjoyed being out walking in the countryside. When we got back into Craster village, then we walked, rather than taking a left up to Dunstable, we took a right towards the village. Here's the harbour. And then just up from the harbour is the smokehouse, and you can see all the smoke coming out, and that's where they smoke the kippers. And we're going to go and try and find somewhere where we can eat some kippers. And then we found where they smoke the kippers and they were smoking them. There was lots of smoke coming out of this little building, and opposite is a pub called the Jolly Fisherman, and we sat in there and we had some kippers. It would be rude not to while we're in Craster. So we've had a lovely time today and the fun isn't going to stop because tonight we're going to the light show in Alnwick. Now, we only heard about this yesterday. We had seen some of the lights actually from the display projected onto the night sky, and we didn't know really what it was all about, but Ben was speaking to somebody in one of the shops yesterday who said that it's a light show and they would really recommend it. So we managed to get tickets for tonight. Now, we had already booked my birthday meal, so we had to just push that back to 8 o'clock so we can try and fit in the light show and then dinner. So that should be really lovely. So I feel very spoilt today. I've eaten out twice and yeah, had such a lovely walk along the coast. And thank you for your comments about my knitting. So one of my lovely viewers suggested going to the pink, but yesterday I made the decision to stick with the grey only because I was a little bit nervous when they said in the book that I've got to teach me the knitting. It said you've got to be careful to do it on the right side, otherwise it can look a bit messy, and I couldn't work out the wrong side from the right side of my knitting, and I thought I don't want to make it messy, so I just stuck with the grey, although I do think the pink would be a good idea. So thanks for the suggestion. I'll just have to get a little bit more confidence built up with my knitting. And also thank you to Linda, who sent me a message about what to do with my dangling yarn, because the book doesn't actually tell you. Now, when I switched the ball over the new yarn wasn't a very long thread, but I have just weaved that in, so you can't really see it there. Now I'll weave that in a little bit more. Now I know what to do, so thank you, Linda, for your guidance. And yeah, it's looking quite long. I did actually quite a bit of knitting last night, so yeah, it's growing quite quickly. And I'm getting a little bit more confident. Now I reread in my book about a mistake that beginners make of yanking the wool after every, do you call it a stitch? And I had been doing that actually, and I think that may be the problem with my tension. So I've stopped doing that, and I'm trying to put the wool in between my fingers so I can kind of get used to feeling the tension of it on my fingers. And it is actually making a little bit quicker now. I'm not kind of yanking on the wool after every stitch. So that's my knitting. Very happy with that, how that's going. Now, I also did want to say happy birthday yesterday to Colleen, because she is one of my viewers and she told me that her birthday is 6th of December, and I did mean to include a little message to her yesterday and I completely forgot. So belated happy birthday to you, Colleen. Ben's already got me my birthday present because he asked me what I wanted. So he gave me this little bear that's from the charity shop. It was actually by Sainsbury's, but yeah, he got it from the charity shop and we'd seen it in the charity shop window, and it just says, "You stole my heart," and he's dressed up as a little robber, which I thought is very cute, and it's a nice keepsake. Ben has often bought me a cuddly toy, so I'm very happy with my little bear. He did also buy me a jumper that was in a shop window at the front, and I kept, every time we walked past it, I said, "Oh, I love that jumper. It's bright pink." I was really surprised actually, because this is the first time that I've ever said I liked something and then Ben has gone and bought it for me. And it was really, really sweet of him, although I didn't expect anything at all. But when I tried it on, and I loved it, but inside there was quite a long piece of yarn dangling. We've got a little clock in here and it makes a little noise on the hour. Birds tweeting. I don't know if you can hear that. I'll just have to wait until it finishes. There we go. So, as I was saying, yeah, there was a yarn loose inside the jumper, so it was faulty. So we took it back to the shop, and the owner apologised and gave Ben a refund. Although it was really sweet of him to buy me something extra, I'm just happy with the little cuddly toy. And I'm having a lovely time in Northumberland. It is so beautiful here, and even though it's really quite cold, we've kind of got the place to ourselves, it feels like. Oh, I forgot to talk about what I'm wearing today, and this is the make that I said I was going to do, I think it was in Vlogmas day 1, and I was hoping to get this finished, and I did get this finished. This is the mitten frock by Lydia Naomi, and it's got a really long collar, so you could fold it down if you wanted to, and even then it would be quite long, but this was just like the perfect thing really to wear, because I don't have a scarf. Well, I'm not yet anyway, because yeah, I still need to do quite a few more rows. But yeah, this is just so snuggly and soft, and it's made in the Cozy Colours by Guthrie and Garney, which is a black with different coloured flecks on it. And the jumper, I really liked the construction. It's really interesting. I've never made a jumper like this. It's a drop shoulder, so the shoulder comes down quite low to here. So that's like just mid kind of bicep. You've got like a shoulder band here that runs up and joins to the front and to the back, and that runs right up into the collar. So then the collar is quite neatly finished on the inside and out. There's no cuff on it, it's just folded under. I'll try and get a picture of me. I did add quite a lot of length, both to the waist and to the bottom. Now there weren't any lengthen and shorten lines on it, so I had to just guess where to add things, and I added it to the waist so I could get, because it is slightly shaped, so I could get the shaping right for the waist and for the hip. And then I added some length onto the bottom. I think it's drafted for somebody who's 5'5", and it looked quite short on the picture. So I just wanted to make sure that I had enough length on it. And it sits just above my knee. Now I added about 7 centimetres onto the waist and about 9 centimetres onto the bottom, but I did take quite a bit off. I think I took about 5 centimetres off the bottom, so I didn't need to add quite as much as I did. But I also lengthened the arms, and again I added quite a bit of length on, but I took most of it off again. So actually I don't think I needed to add any length onto the arms. And I'm very happy with it. When I've asked for Ben's input on it, I think he feels like this is a little bit too high. But he agrees that when you're outside you probably need it. So yeah, he feels like it looks a little bit better when it's tucked under. So I don't know whether next time I would actually perhaps just shorten the neck piece just a bit. In fact, I think you could even do it by half. So where it tells you that the fold is on the pattern, you could actually, I might actually be tempted to take it up to there and then fold it down. I think that would give enough length without it being too long. But a brilliant pattern by Lydia Naomi. I've made the chillax sweatsuit of hers and I really enjoy wearing that. Thanks again for watching my vlogs. I hope you have enjoyed it, and I'll see you tomorrow. Bye!